Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Thursday, November 7th, 2024. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. The following is a notice from the Office of the Premier. Premier of Nevis, the Honourable Mark Brantley, will be away on official duties as an invited speaker at the 28th Annual Residents' Week Protection and Investment Conference. It is for high net worth individuals to discuss asset protection structures, alternative investment opportunities, government and tax compliance regulations, and geopolitical issues. Recently, second residency and/or citizenship has become a big part of the discussions. The attendees are open to investing internationally or even moving abroad in their retirement years. The Premier will depart on Friday, November 8th, and return on Monday, November 11th, 2024. During this period, the Honourable Spencer Brand will act as Premier. The following is a notice from the Premier's Ministry regarding the development of the Vance W. Amory International Airport. The Premier's Ministry hereby notifies the public of a consultation at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, November 14th, 2024, at the Pond Hill Community Centre to discuss the development of the Vance W. Amory International Airport. The Ministry will present, in addition to the project overview, the findings of the recently concluded Environmental Impact Assessment EIA. Stakeholders and interested persons will be afforded the opportunity to review the EIA report and have any concerns addressed as it relates to the development. The Ivor Walters Primary School and the Charlestown Primary School will advance to the finals of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Cooperative League Department of Cooperatives Primary School Quiz. On October 31st, the two schools cupped the two top places, with the Ivor Walters Primary School placing first and the Charlestown Primary School placing second. Ivor Walters Primary, represented by Kamali Warner and Zanier Jeffers, scored 50 points. The second place was decided following a keenly contested tiebreaker round between the Charlestown Primary and the Montessori Academy. In the end, Ivandria Weeks and Chelsea Lackram secured the second spot for the Charlestown Primary School with 45 points. The Montessori Academy was represented by Zorina Elliott and Jaden Daniel. Other participating schools were the Maud Cross Preparatory, represented by Rosen Daniel and Avanya Nisbet, the Violet O. Jeffers Nichols Primary School, represented by Shavnik Foster and Kari Daniel, and the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School, represented by Decoy Liebert and Tasnesha Wilkin. Permanent Secretary Huey Sargent spoke on behalf of Minister of Cooperatives, the Honourable Eric Evelyn.
The concept of cooperatives is an important ideal for our community, and it shows the importance of us all working together. The Good Bible suggests that if you bring up a child in the way it should go, it should not depart. And this event, I think, is establishing that concept for our children, not only by the banking that happens at our schools, but the content of the quiz today, and I imagine they would have been studying, so they are indeed very familiar with many of the cooperative ideals. This is the second time that Nevis is participating, and from my information last year, the team from Nevis did credibly. This year, with the doubling of the participation, we see this as a success. On behalf of the Minister and the Ministry, I want to wish all of the teams very well, and for the winners today to do even better in the finals.
Sargent expressed gratitude to all involved in making the quiz a success year after year. Education Officer Shanella Joseph Nisbet delivered remarks on behalf of the Ministry and Department of Education.
On behalf of the Ministry and Department of Education, we recognize the St. Kitts Nevis National Cooperative League and the Department of Cooperatives for their interest, for their involvement, and for their partnership with the schools and education as a whole. We appreciate your thoughtfulness that provided the foundation for today's quiz, and we thank you in advance for the tangible and intangible benefits that our students will receive for taking part today.
The quiz took place at the Nevis Performing Arts Center, NEPAC. The top 2 schools on Nevis will compete against the top 2 schools in each zone of the St. Kitts leg of the competition, scheduled to take place on Friday, November 22nd. Still to come.
We would all be aware that we teach Spanish at our high schools, but we are now introducing it at the primary school level.
We'll give you the details after this break.
Your Horseless Value Mart IGA specials for October 31st through November 13th. Now our Value Club Blue Tag specials. IGA or Essential Everyday Microwave Popcorn, just $7.99. Multi-meal cereals, just $17.99. Essential Everyday Dry Roasted Peanuts, $12.99. Essential Everyday Cranberry Juice Cocktails, just $8.99 each. Essential Everyday Shredded and Chunk Cheese, $7.99. Blue Bunny Ice Cream, just $22.99. And now our very low weekly value deals. IGA or Essential Everyday Salad Dressings, $10.99 each. Duncan Hines Cake Mixes, $6.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Mac and Cheese, $2.99. Meatless pasta is just $5.99. Ensure, $8.99. Colgate toothpaste, $7.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Welcome back. The Department of Education is currently piloting a primary school Spanish program at 2 schools in Nevis. That disclosure was made by Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley at his October 31st press conference.
The program is aimed at introducing students to the language and to develop their oral competence in the language. The program is currently being piloted at the grade 5 level with a view to other classes being added shortly. We would all be aware that we teach Spanish at our high schools, but we are now introducing it at the primary school level, starting with St. Thomas's Primary and Charlestown Primary as the 2 pilot schools in grade 5. I think that that is an incredible intervention and innovation in terms of educating our children. We know that on the island now we have a large community of people who are our people in the main, citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, but who speak Spanish because they grew up or born in the Dominican Republic. We also have quite a few Cubans who are here in the Federation, including a lot of our health workers. And so the ability of our people to communicate in different languages is an important opportunity.
Premier Brantley explained that there are plans to introduce other languages.
Because I know sometimes the issues raised by those who say, well, we are largely of African descent, so how come we're not teaching African languages? Why Mandarin? Why Spanish? Why French? And the answer really is that to determine which African language to teach is sometimes difficult, because the continent of Africa has no consistent language. And so when we talk about an African language, one then gets to determine, well, are we talking about West Africa? Are we talking about East Africa? Which part of Africa? But we are discussing that, and we have been in good conversations already to determine whether or not an African language, whether it's Swahili or something else, can be something that we can also introduce into our schools. But I want the press to understand that these are developments that take time. We have to find teachers. We have to, of course, build a curriculum. And even the Spanish in the schools, it has been some time in the making. But we are just delighted that we now have some momentum, and we will start in that in 2 schools, as I've indicated, as a pilot project.
Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley. The general public is advised that Sunday, November 10th, will be observed as a National Day of Remembrance for those members of the armed forces who lost their lives in the wars of 1914 to 1918 and 1939 to 1945. The annual service commemorating Remembrance Day will be held on Sunday, November 10th at 8 a.m. at the War Memorial in Charlestown. The service will commence with a 2-minute period of silence signaled by the firing of a gun at 8 a.m. All persons, whether attending the service or not, are asked to observe this moment by keeping the silence, which includes the halting of all vehicular traffic. All school children who will be attending the service are advised that school buses will commence pickup at 6:45 a.m. from the usual pickup points and will leave the War Memorial, Charlestown at 9 a.m. The Nevis Island Administration appreciates the understanding and cooperation of all. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes.